Hey guys, what's up? So today's beat, we're gonna do this cat eye and dimensional lip moment. This is a classic look. I don't use any eyeshadow at all. This is pretty simple and I hope you love it. I'm gonna start with my Ordinary moisturizer. This looks pretty good.
Pretty good.
Definitely got too much. And then today I'm going to be using the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. I'm not a person who uses primer all the time. A lot of times I just use moisturizer and skincare to prep the skin. But I do see kind of like a blurring effect when I use this, and my pores seem a little less visible. So I do like this thing. Next, I'm going to be taking my damp beauty blender and using my True Match Lumi Foundation by L'Oreal. This is in the shade W3. Just gonna apply a light layer. This has been my kind of go-to foundation for a while. As you can see, it's sort of on running low. We've all been there, am I right? So I've been noticing in my video that with the light I use, it's very aggressive, and a lot of times I think that I'm covering my blemishes, and then when I look back at the footage, I still see these little marks on my face because the light I use is so strong. And this is an important lesson, because if you are doing makeup for photography or for film, how it looks in person is always different than how it looks on camera. Cameras pick up lighting differently. The eye can only take in so much in a mirror. To improve and modify that, I'm going to be doing a little bit more coverage on my blemishes without adding a ton of coverage to the face. So today I'm going to take the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in the shade NC30. Just going to pump a little bit of this on the back of my hand, because a little bit does go a long way. And I'm going to be using this Sonia Kashuk brush, number 32. And I will link everything down below. And I'm gonna give some more coverage to these areas. I already do this step with other products, but based off of how my videos have been looking, I realized I need to go in with the big guns to really get that coverage. I'm just starting out here. I'm a new YouTuber, so I don't have the big monitor showing me how everything's looking as I'm going. I'm using my phone, and I'm trying so hard to not use the front-facing camera so that I could give you better quality videos. But that results in me not always seeing how I look on camera. So thank you for bearing with me if you're still here. I made a promise with myself that I have to film and edit 10 videos with the resources I already have, my phone, the makeup light I used, and I should do a video showing my first ever YouTube setup, because my light I was using was so harsh. You can notice if you want to look back at my blue video and my summer glow video. That was before I learned this trick, but I was using this light. It's the L'Oreal Total Light. This is a good makeup light when placed kind of far away. But with my setup, I have to have it kind of close to me, but when it's close to me, it's really harsh. You can see shine, you can see shadows. I feel like you can genuinely see inside of my skin. It's actually nuts. And it makes me look a little red because it's a very warm light. Now, to improve the quality a little bit, I took my bed sheet and hung it up in front of it, creating enough distance for it not to heat up, because this is a halogen light, not an LED light. So the first time I did it, I actually burned a hole in my sheet. And now I've figured out that issue and just moved the light a little further back. And now here we are. So like I said, I wanted to get as resourceful as possible with things I already had, and bring consistency and improve my content and my quality before investing in new gear. So how did I get on this tangent? Oh, basically that's why as I go, I'm learning little adjustments I can do to give a better result. So on camera, I need to cover my little imperfections even more, because this L'Oreal Totolite is exposing me. But live and learn, am I right? Real life experience is so useful. There's so much I learned out on shoots on the job that I could have never learned in like a class. You just have to learn as you go. It's just like anything. Okay. That's feeling pretty bulletproof. So now I'm gonna go in with some concealer. Today I'm gonna be using the Covergirl Trueblend concealer. This is another one that I was using a lot, so there's not a ton left right here, but I like this because the applicator reminds me of Shape Tape. It doesn't hit quite as hard as Shape Tape, which I kind of like. I do love a Shape Tape moment when I'm going for that maximum coverage, but Shape Tape is a little aggressive for my under eyes, being a woman of a certain age. So as you can see, this is just a light layer I'm applying here, because this does have a pretty nice brightening effect. And I'm just applying to highlight my face, drawing my little tree of life down the center. This little mark right here. I try to apply it kind of blendy already, if that makes sense, to sort of give you less work to do with the Beauty Blender. Scrape a little bit out what I can, get some on my Beauty Blender, and press this into the skin. I've been all about like a dewy face lately, but I have to say there's something so satisfying about a concealer that just kind of like stays where you put it. You know, this is a little bit more of a matte consistency, so when you go to blend it out, you can really just press it into your skin as opposed to like kind of gliding it all over, which I feel like the creamier consistencies are a lot more malleable, so when you blend it tends to spread. Well, it's hard for me to be like, what's my favorite concealer? What's my favorite this? Because it just kind of changes based off my mood. Everything has a pro and a con, and it's just knowing what's what and also kind of what to use with it. I'm gonna set with my Nye Neutral Set. This is a translucent powder, completely colorless. There's no pigment, so this isn't gonna change anything about the highlighting I already did. Meaning, this isn't gonna, you know, if this was like a tan powder, obviously it would kind of darken the areas I highlighted. This is just gonna set everything exactly how it is. This is the Bdellium 974. Again, I'm linking below, getting better at linking below, but I will say this brush is kind of shedding a lot, so I'm using it right now because it was handy, but beware, it does shed. After I apply that, I go in with some setting spray. This is MAC Prep and Prime. I want to look alive, young, thriving, hydrated. Ain't no crusty crust around here. Now I'm gonna contour with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Powder Contour Kit. I'll be using the palette with the shades that range from tan to deep. Definitely take it easy over here if you have a similar complexion as me. The really darker colors in this palette I use more for eyeshadow, because on my day-to-day, I basically never wear eyeshadow. I'll use my contour as eyeshadow. So I like that I could use the lighter shades in this palette to contour, and then I can use the darker shades in this palette for eyeshadow. These two I use for contour. These two I use for eyeshadow, and this I honestly don't really use that much. It's like a highlight type of situation, but it has a little bit of like pearly effect, so Sometimes I might use that to like highlight my brow bone, but I don't really use it that much. And then I'm using that same powder brush to blend my contour, just kind of taking this tapered edge into my cheekbone. And I'm gonna take my Morphe R37 brush in one of the lighter shades, definitely one of the lighter shades for this. Do a slight nose contour. Okay, so going in with my favorite drugstore blush, this is Luminoso by Milani. It is so pretty. It kind of reminds me of the NARS Orgasm blush that I love, but this is a fraction of the price. And you know I like to take a little bit everywhere, add some color to my face. Okay, next I'm gonna be taking some smaller brushes, but using my same contour palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I am gonna start with the lighter colors using my Morphe R37 and just start to build a little bit of a crease here, taking it into my nose contour. I kind of do this with eyeshadow too. So when I'm actually using a contour palette as opposed to eyeshadow, I definitely am not scared to bring it into my nose contour. And this brush is just super fluffy and diffusey. This is something I literally do like just a quick, once you know where your creases are on your face, you just throw that brush right in there and you can add this little bit of dimension so easily. So now I'm going in with some of the darker colors and a smaller brush. This is Morphe R39, and going more into that like socket area of the crease, just to add a little bit of dimension here. It's just about having like a soft contoured eye as opposed to like eyeshadow. Then I'm taking that same brush and going underneath the eye. I do this little squint and it makes that skin right there puff up. That's exactly the area I want to get with this product. If you're ever wondering like how far down you should go with your lower lash line, I think that's a good mark. I don't know if everybody's face is like that, but mine literally has like a landing cushion for that. You can go lower than you think with lower lash line. I remember when I first started getting into that, I would just do like a little bit on the lash line, but really it's like we're putting all this stuff in our crease, why not complete the eye and do the under eye as well? And then you kind of connect the outer corners like that. Okay, so just a soft type moment. Okay, now we're gonna go in with some eyeliner. I'm gonna be using my Bdellium Tool 706 brush. This is a tiny little brush. It's a very fine detail brush, and I'm gonna be using my MAC Blacktrack cream eyeliner. The important thing here is getting some on your brush and flattening it out. You want it super flat. You don't want any wayward hairs poking out because they're gonna carry the product and make it look messy. You want it as flat as possible. And I turn it sideways like this and shove that little flat side. Make sure you don't have any on the metal part. I had some on this little metal part and it was so ready to play me. So make sure you kind of wipe that off because that'll get in an area you don't want it. Try and keep the product on the tip of the brush, but flat. Okay, here we go, party time. Okay, so I'm turning the brush on its side to lay gently in that little crevice right there, because this inner corner, I don't want it to really be on my eyelid. I want it to be like in my lash line. So I'm really being very precious here. And if you're not a wing girl, you could just line your eye with that same technique and ignore the whole wing process. I'm gonna do the other side. And if you see a little speck like that that's out of place, it's better to just leave it than try and fix it, because what's going to happen when you try and correct it is you're probably going to mess up more, and it's just going to get thicker and thicker and thicker. It's better to like just leave the little, if they're very minuscule, leave it. And one, finish your makeup, see if it even bothers you once you have your lashes and everything else on. And then if it's still an issue by then, you could take a little Q-tip and adjust it. But when you have your shape doing what you want it to do, just don't fuck with it. Just leave it, let it be. So that's the amount of thickness I pretty much want for that line right there. So now I can start working on my wing. Just taking a little bit more product, kind of flattening it out. And here I'm going to cheat the eye, so not coming all the way from the corner. I'm going to come a little bit in, turning that brush sideways so it's nice and flat. Okay, again, we care more about like overall shape here than perfection. So I'm gonna move on and do my lashes. I'm gonna be using my MAC Extended Play Mascara. Usually I would curl my lashes before this step, but since I just applied the eyeliner, it's still drying a bit, so I didn't want to do anything to mess that up. And now I'm gonna throw on my Arielle Demi Wispies. I'm also gonna show you a way to customize these lashes. So here's the Wispies. I'm going to pull it off from the outside, trim the last 3 longest little notches here. I'm not gonna throw away this little guy. I'm just gonna set it off to the side. In the meantime, I'm gonna take my glue, apply a thin layer, let that vibe out off to the side. Now do it to the other lash.
Pull from the outside, trim off the last 3 notches, set them off to the side, apply some glue.
Now you can check out that first lash. Pick it up with some tweezers, place your mirror below, and wiggle that in to your lash line. One thing I do love about a nice wing is it's a really good start to applying lashes. Kind of instantly hides the band, so it's a little bit more forgiving. But you do want to try and really get your lash band into your natural crease where your real lashes meet your eyelid. Now, to enhance that cat eye effect, take your little trimmings of lash, apply some glue, let them chill out, pick it up with your tweezers, and just apply it on the outer corner. So now you have some extra volume on the end there, and it kind of adds to that cat eye effect. And that way you don't waste any of your lash. Boom. Feel free to take a Q-tip, clean up any mascara that might have tried to play you. And now you can see once the lashes are on and everything, the wing isn't so like apparent, you know, there's those imperfections aren't really like gonna bother you as much. But if they do, one thing you could do is take a pencil brush like this. This is the R43. And take a brown shadow or a black shadow and just kind of diffuse it a little bit. I'm gonna take some brown. I'm just using that dark brown color that's in my Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit. Again, there's no rules in makeup. This is literally contour for your face, and I'm using it to blend my eyeliner, because why not? Now I'm gonna take my Covergirl Professional Natural Lash. This is a clear mascara, but I use it to comb my eyebrows because can't nobody tell me shit. I like to comb up, up, and away. So for lips today, I'm just gonna keep it really simple. I'm gonna be using my Ben Nye pencil in the shade LP127. I like to do the center. And then take my Revlon Ultra HD Matte Revolution in the shade 645 and just apply to the center. And after assessing the situation here a little bit, I decided I wanted to add some more dimension to my lips. So I'm gonna be taking this Milani Satin Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Lavish. And I'm just gonna take a little bit in the center. Just to kind of give a little more dimension to the lips. You know what I mean? Jelly bean. Last but not least, I'm gonna take my Dose of Colors Desi x Katie lip gloss in the shade The Most and just take a little bit on the center, cause you know, what started out as a simple lip moment turned into a 3-part series, and it just really do be like that sometimes. So this is the final look, a nice cat eye and glossy dimensional lip moment. It's just a classic, timeless look that I feel like looks good on everyone. Even I was looking at old movies of Audrey Hepburn and it looks like she's always wearing like a wing and a lash. Like just a wing and a lash, so pure. It's like peanut butter and jelly. You know what I'm saying? A little more spray. Oh, let me down.